Hello, all you happy people, and welcome to another episode of Pretty Doesn't Bite.
On how to be lovely.
On how to be lovely.
You gotta be happy.
You gotta be.
I tried so hard not to say anything about this. I really did. I was like, I don't need to make a video about this. I'm sure plenty of people already have. But because my background academically is in African American history, I interned at the African American History Museum in DC. Black people are kind of important in my life, obviously. I figured I should probably say something anyway. So let's talk about Jada Pinkett Smith and the Oscars. And I'm sure you've already seen the viral video going around of the woman who played Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince tearing into them. I'm going to do this without cussing up a storm, but I still think I can get the point across. So, from what I understand, Jada is upset about the lack of representation at the Academy Awards for people of color. That is definitely a problem. But I'll get into reasons why it's a problem later. My issue, which I'm trying to understand, is what kind of logic goes behind there aren't enough of us here, so we should all leave. Am I the only person to whom that doesn't make any sense? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you going to remove the little representation that's there to protest the fact that we're not represented? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. Like, there are solutions. That's not one of them, Jada. It's not. The solutions, I think, is something that I've been talking about for a long time. If you ask anybody in my family, I've been complaining about this forever. There's not enough diversity in roles for Black people. And the Black people who could make that a possibility aren't really doing anything about it. Will and Jada, you've got all this money, you're complaining about the lack of diversity, but I have yet to see a film come from a studio that you created that puts Black people in roles where they can shine. I was telling somebody the other day, the only movies in which I have seen Black people as leads or major characters, excluding Star Wars, but we all know George Lucas loves Black people, are either slave movies or civil rights movies. And I'm not saying that either one of those subjects is not important, but in between slavery and the civil rights movement of the 1960s, which there was plenty of civil rights for people of color going on in between then, and we just didn't study a whole lot about it because all we hear in school is MLK and Harriet Tubman. Well, that's not what I learned in school because I was homeschooled. But anyway, there's all this history of Black people in between slavery and civil rights. And there's a whole lot of history after civil rights. But all we seem to want to make movies about are slaves, civil rights, and Tyler Perry's favorite, dysfunctional Black families. If you're going to complain about something, you should probably have a plan in place to remedy whatever it is that you're complaining about. Otherwise, the only thing that complaining is doing is making people irritated at you because you have no solution to speak of. You're just whining to hear the sound of your own voice. If you want to see more Black people in venues that are traditionally non-Black, then if you have the power to do so, which Will and Jada, you clearly do, or at least think that you do, then make those things happen. Make movies about Black academics and Black athletes that aren't playing basketball. I know that, I want to say it was the last Summer Olympics, there were 2 Black kids on the U.S. Taekwondo team. Why don't we have a movie about them? The year, I don't know if they came out in the same year, but when The Great Debaters came out, I was thrilled because it was a movie about something that I could identify with, like Black academics, like, whoa. Plus, I was on a debate team in high school for like 5 minutes because my mom wanted me to argue with someone else. And then Aquila and the Bee came out, and I have been in spelling bees before, and I was like, yay, this is great. Like, I know how to spell prestidigitation. Go me. When movies like that came out, as a young Black woman, I was extremely inspired. And I was like, look, this is something that I can identify with. This is something that I know. And I haven't really seen anything else like that. I think there's one other movie, something about writing, and I haven't seen that one yet either. But now it's not worth watching. Another movie that I really loved, because one of the time periods that I study is mid 1800s, so 50s, 60s or whatever, which would be considered the Victorian era. So I have always wanted a period piece where Black people are the leads, where they weren't slaves. So when Belle came out, and I know Belle is a couple of centuries before the Victorian era, but when it came out, I was all over that. I have the DVD in my bookcase right now. Like, I loved that movie. But the fact that I've only got, a couple of movies to choose from that reflect Black people in a positive light and are not stereotypical. They're not just athletes. They're not just musicians. There's more to us than that. And if we would stop infighting and arguing with each other and doing dumb things like let's boycott the Oscars because there aren't enough of us there, that was dumb. Jada, if you're watching, that was dumb. And maybe instead of being concerned about getting a little gold statuette, you should probably talk to your kids because they're insane and possibly abusing some kind of substance. I don't know, but that's what it seems like. Yeah, that's my little rant. If you want to fast forward to the end of this video, the point is, A, don't complain about something if you don't have a solution, because otherwise you're just annoying. B, Black people, let's stop depending on other people to do for us what we want and actually get something done ourselves. Let's make some movies that are Oscar worthy, and that if the Oscars don't recognize us, then sucks to be them. At least we've got that. At least we can say, look at what we made. It just, complaining frustrates me. It bothers me. It's just like, why won't you just do something about it, I mean, I felt like there wasn't enough African American representation on YouTube. So I've got my happy hips up in here in my apartment making a video because I wanted to do something about it. So let's stop complaining and move forward. Many friends and family will recognize that reference. And let's do some good and some beneficial and some positive things. And I hate the word positive because I always think like, oh, new age and whatever. But like, really, we can do better and we should do better. So let's get up and let's go. I hope you guys have a great day. This might be the shortest video I've ever made. I don't know. We'll see what happens in editing. All right. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.
You'll be as lovely as can be.